applicable all the time?
Yes, it's applicable all the time.
So does that law apply today?
This isn't Sharia law.
Christian. That was their feet.
No, I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to teach you a lot about your deen here. Right? Feet is the legal, is the athlete. Is practice. Type in, can Christians rule over Muslims in Hanafi or Hanbali? What's the others? I forget. Maliki or Shafi. Ask can Christians rule over Muslims? In which madhab says that they can do that?
It's the prohibition of choosing Christians for holding government office.
Correct. And you said if we did that to Muslims, that's Islamophobic.
Now,
Yes.
but back then it's different.
So can Muslims hold office, or can Christians hold office over Muslims today under Sharia law? No, they can't. Sharia law prohibits Christians from ruling over Muslims. That's from all the madhabs.
Is this a Christian country?
No, not really.
Is Ireland a Christian country?
No.
Can you name one Christian country?
The Vatican.
Another Christian country.
The Vatican would be a Christian.
I went to live in Poland.
He's checking. Don't let him check.
As a Muslim right now, if I go live
Right, I believe
what does that mean?
well, let me give you an example. I believe that in a Christian government, Muslims can achieve high office, so long as they implement laws according to Christian principles. But that is not true in Islam.
Yes.
Muslims can't. Now notice, he's just, before he didn't know, he had to check, but all of a sudden he's stealing my answer to try and make Islam look okay. Literally, you're about to steal my... No.
Muslims can't live under Christian rule. If I went to live in Poland, am I an effed up Muslim? A lot of Muslims live in Poland.
Correct.
What does that mean for your argument?
Right, here's what it
And
means.
this is without understanding, so imagine I knew as well.
Yeah.
Imagine the other people.
You'd be arguing,
the religion is taking
you'd be arguing different. But the point is, Yassine, you're trying to
Also, this is not religious subjugation.
It is religious subjugation.
I'm hearing people are allowed to live. When the Crusaders were coming into different Islamic countries, they were killing them straight.
Yassine,
There was a negotiation.
Yassine, listen.
What does that mean?
Yassine, these are sound bites, not arguments. Firstly, the Muslims under Christian rule live better than the Muslims. Sorry, the Muslims under Christian rule live better under Christian rule than Muslims lived under Muslim rule.
I don't think so.
Yes, they did, ladies and gentlemen. Furthermore, you said it was Islamophobic if we barred Muslims from government. But you won't condemn the Pact of Umar that says that Christians should be barred from high government. I've demonstrated that Islam teaches religious discrimination. Now all you have to do is condemn the Pact of Umar. Just condemn that rule.
That rule, not the fact.
Condemn that Will you condemn that rule?
That was written in 7th century.
Which rule?
The one that says Christians
It's not
will
very
you condemn that rule?
Yes.
But it's not even true.
What's not true?
I'll tell you why it's not true.
It's not very
Right, go on.
Who knows about the story where
So why just you condemn it?
the main physician, the Sultan back in the day, I think in the Ottoman Empire, was a Jew.
The Pact of Omar doesn't
He's
apply
a
to the
physician.
Doesn't apply to the
He's not in government.
So it's only government
I don't
law.
think it applies to
Well, physicians are not government, bro. No one thinks like that. No one thinks your local GP is in the government.
So if I find any Jew or Christian governments back then,
No, I'll give you an example. During the occupation of Spain, the Caliph of the Caliphate of Cordoba allowed Jews to rule over the Muslims. And you know what it resulted in? An anti-Semitic riot that led to the death of 5,000 Jews and the toppling of that government. That's what it led to. So let's see.
The fact of Omar doesn't apply today, I don't think. It doesn't apply today anymore, yeah. But you still have to condemn it though. Still.
For example, common before the modern period for non-Muslims to serve in Islamic government, despite the supposed prohibition. Why is it?
Because when the Muslims invaded Christian land,
Why were some allowed to be in the country?
I'm going to explain.
Yesterday was okay,
I'll give you
but
an
now
example. John of Damascus. And the reason why was because when Muslims invaded Christian land, they invaded lands that already had an administrative structure on top. And the Arabs didn't have the education to do the kind of projects that they wanted to do. And so when they wanted to build a fleet to besiege Constantinople, they didn't have the wit or the education to do that. So John of Damascus was the administrative functionary that managed the building of the fleet, because the Arabs had just come out of the desert and they built the first fleet. But as Muslims came to dominate, they increasingly show me any Islamic fleet that says that a Christian can rule over a Muslim?
I'm saying if every Muslim believed that Islam was messed up, why were some Christians and Jews in positions of government?
Okay.
In positions of power?
Yassine, let's come back to the issue that you're running from. What's the jizya tax? Goodbye, Yassine. Take care.
I don't read the Bible before this Bible. I only have they all lived much before the first century.
But you asked me about this manuscript
For the New Testament.
Let me ask you this question, Yassine.
The New Testament, what is the oldest manuscript that we have?
Are you wanting a fragment or something? So the oldest fragment, you can see it in Manchester, you can go and see it yourself. The oldest fragment dates to around 125 years.
125 AD. 125 AD.
Let me ask you a question. This is a one-way story. So what is your oldest copy of the Quran? When is it dated?
20 years after.
That's fine. The oldest Quran, according to Islamic tradition, is the top and what's the other one? Oh, no, it's the, I think it was actually the top five. And the people that date the Quran date it to the 8th century. Now, can you explain to me, Yasin? No, these are folios. Birmingham folios, the manuscripts that get found in Birmingham are not complete Qurans. I asked you about complete Qurans. Yes. Yeah. So
nothing is dated to time of Jesus. Troublesome.
you know why?
A lot of translations. A lot of Jesus is already made.
Yes, it is. Because the sound bites doesn't help you learn. You asked me a question about why is there nothing there?
How can you check this? Yeah, that's my question.
I'm trying to, but you keep interrupting every time I try to answer a question. I'm trying to. So the reason why is that back 2,000 years ago, at the time of Jesus, people wrote on what was called papyri. Papyrus is an organic material. It's not like a paper. No paper. It's essentially leaves. Leaves, by their nature, just rot through the power. Well, obviously, a person is lost. Can you show me a full Quran from the 7th century? No, you can't. Can you show me a full Quran from the 7th century? You're interrupting every question. So you're not here to learn. You're here to answer the question. Yes. Okay, so I'm actually answering the question. Yeah, but I'm answering the question. Why not? I'm not even that informed. Yeah, great. So let me right. So you can't find a full copy of the Quran from the 7th century. Now please explain to me how when the Muslims had an entire empire and all the resources of an empire, at their disposal, that we can't, and that people were writing on paper in the 7th century, that with all that, you can't find a full and complete Quran from the 7th century. Your earliest Quran comes from a century later. Why? What's going on?
Please answer that question. It says the fragments found in the Birmingham manuscript.
I said complete copy, not fragments.
These fragments, they're in line with what we have today.
No, the carbon dating is earlier than Muhammad.
When you're talking about the oldest Bible, 125 years old, isn't
It's fragment.
yeah. That fragment, it says some verses are left out.
No, that fragment doesn't say that.
Not the fragment. It says that modern scholars don't agree that some verses weren't left out.
Right, you're confusing two different things. Right. So, first, you've got an issue in Islam. You have no complete Quran from the 7th century. Despite the fact that you have the power of an empire and people who write it. Now let me explain why that's a problem. Because when Christianity converted the Roman Empire in the 4th century, and suddenly we found ourselves with the power of an empire, what emerges? The first complete copies of the Bible. You can see them today. You can go to the British Library and you can go and see the Codex Vaticanus and the Codex Sinaiticus. They are earlier than Islam. The moment the Christians had the power of an empire, we suddenly see full Bibles appearing. But yet Muslims are telling us they have the power of an empire, but yet they haven't managed to preserve a single Quran from the 7th century when we managed to preserve a Bible from the 4th century when we had the power of an empire. Why? What's going on?
Islam didn't start out with the great empire ruled. Muhammad didn't start out with the great empire.
When did the Muslim empire start?
Is that true? Is it true or not?
Muhammad did have an empire, yes, in Arabia. Yes, he did. He started out with it. Did he conquer Arabia?
No, he didn't. Muhammad himself didn't.
Yes, he conquered Mecca.
Mecca is in Arabia. And anyway, any tribes in the north of What is the oldest manuscript?
Right.
New Testament.
You've got to be clear about that.
No, that's why I'm making it clear.
Right, yes, I'm going to.
So when is it?
So let me tell you about the terms. Manuscript can refer to fragments
I'm saying full. So I said full. You said let's be clear and say
and I have answered that question. So 400 years it is 4 centuries. When Christians had an empire.
Let's say both of them
But
have
Muslims had an empire in the 7th century, and you can't provide a Quran from the 7th
Right, so
century.
they were
Why
weak
not?
and stupid and
Why did the
One is
why
100
there no
years late.
Quran?
Okay.
Exactly. Why is
One
that?
okay. that's fine.
Why is that?
I don't know why it is. One is 100 years late and one is 400 years
I'll
late.
tell you why. Because Muslims changed their Quran and they destroyed the evidence they could.
There's errors in the Bible. There's contradictions.
Let me show you a contradiction.
Are you sure? How do Christians explain?
It's on the contradiction.
So you're saying every contradiction has an explanation?
Every contradiction I've encountered has an explanation.
What about the fact that there's different
So now
sects?
you wanted me to show you a contradiction. So let me show you a contradiction. Okay? So in Surah 7, 109, 109 is this. I'll read it in context so you can pick up the context. Okay. Pharaoh said, I'm reading from 106. Pharaoh said, if indeed thou hast come with a sign, show it forth, if thou tellest the truth. Then Moses threw his rod, and behold, it was a serpent plain for all to see. And he drew out his hand, and behold, it was white to all the beholders. Said the chiefs of the people of Pharaoh, this is indeed a sorcerer well versed. His plan is to get you out of your land. Then what is it ye counsel? So who's speaking to him? You're not been listening, you see. Look, it literally says, said the chiefs of the people. So he's speaking to Pharaoh because Pharaoh is the one. Look, 109. Look at this slowly. Surah 7, verse 100.
The elders of the Pharaoh's people.
Well, who do you think? Because Moses is in. So when you're not going to address the servant, you're going to address the ruler, aren't you? Am I being fair? Okay. Surah 7, 109. Let's go to Surah 26, 33. Surah 6, says, Pharaoh said to the chiefs around him, this is indeed a sorcerer well versed. His plan is to get you out of your land by his sorcery. Then what is it you counsel? So who said what to who? So in one verse, it said that I said to you. In the other verse, it said that you said to me.
I'm using I read the same verse.
Oh, my brother. Wow.
You mean?
All right.
I
So
said to you. No.
pay attention.
Okay.
No, I just.
In one verse, it said that Pharaoh said to the chief.
Well, he was here longer than that.
Which you can logically think of as person A says to person B. In the other verse, it says that the chiefs said to Pharaoh, which is the equivalent of saying person B says to person A. That's a contradiction. It's either person A or person B. Who is it? Did you get it? Did you understand it? Did you understand it? Who else was listening? Did you understand it? Did you understand it? Yes, see, how is it that everyone around us understands it except you?
We're going to test it. Everyone's
this again.
Surah 6:34. Messengers before you have been
26. You're the and look what it's done to you. Your pride has made stopped at your ears. You can't listen.
I heard 6 instead of 26.
Everybody else heard what I have to say. Right, listen. Surah 26, Ayah 34. Pharaoh said to the chiefs around him, "This is indeed a sorcerer well versed. His plan is to get you out of your land by his sorcery. What then is it ye counsel?" Who's speaking according to that passage?
Pharaoh to the chief.
The Pharaoh to the chiefs. Now let's go to Surah 7, verse 1, I actually go to Surah 7. There it is. Sorry, I was back in Surah 9. Verse 109.
Surah what?
Surah 7, verse 109, said the chiefs of the people of Pharaoh, "This is indeed a sorcerer well versed. His plan is to get you out of the land. Then what is it you counsel?" So who said what?
And then it said, they advised Pharaoh, put off Moses and his brother for a while. Send forth heralds to the city, summon every skillful magician to your presence.
So who said
And the
what?
magicians came to Pharaoh and said, "Shall we have a reward if we win?"
So who said what? Now answer the question. Who said what?
From Java's group.
Who said these words? This is indeed a sorcerer well versed. Was it the chiefs to Pharaoh, or was it the Pharaoh to the chiefs? Who said those words?
So you're saying that because the Pharaoh said it and the elders said it, that's a contradiction?
Right. It is a contradiction. It is a contradiction. And here's why. Listen carefully to the words. Right? This is why. They're less arrogant, less can learn more. Just think about the logical contradiction of this. That in Surah 9, correct, but listen, if it's they said, so you're saying the same thing to one another.
No.
Your logic is that.
But is that, show me another.
No, this is fine. This one works. This one works. No, I've got more. I've got more. This one works. I've got more. It works. Right? So it's just that Yasin doesn't have an answer to. So let me show you another thing. Let me show you another contradiction. Right?
This one is...
Okay. Do you need to go?
Soon, yeah. We'd rather have like 5 minutes.
Okay. One more. Alright. Here's a contradiction.
In the Bible, I can have hundreds of stuff right now.
Listen. Yes, and we can find lots of contradictions in the Quran. Here's one. In Surah 28:88, it says everything perishes but Allah's face. So what happens to Allah's shin? Surah 28:88. Right? Surah 28:88.
Perishes except Allah's face.
It's not like that.
There's no God worthy of worship. Everything is bound to perish. All authority belongs to Him, and to Him you will not be eternal.
In the Arabic, it doesn't say he himself. In the Arabic, it says his face.
And his face only.
His face. Everything perishes except his face.
Okay.
That's what it says.
They didn't read the Arabic though.
I don't think this guy can read the Arabic.
I can.
There's a difference between reciting Arabic and I can read Latin. That doesn't mean I can translate it.
Right. Memorization.
So everything perishes except his face.
So all these official translations are wrong. So when we get contradictions
Do you
in the
want to
Bible,
pull? What do you want?
get it from
Are you
translation.
trying to run away? Yes. You talked about. You wanted to see another contradiction in the Quran. So let's talk about a contradiction in the Quran. Yeah. In Surah, is it? Have I got the right place?
The contradictions we find in the Bible. It doesn't have to
You're
do
trying to
anything
run away from the contradiction in the Quran, you see. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you. Listen, in Surah 55, 26 and 27, it says, all that is on earth will perish, but will abide forever the face of your Lord, full of majesty, bounty and honour.
This just says the same thing.
Correct. Now what happens to Allah's shin? What happens to Allah's hand? What happens to the veil of Allah?
How is that contradiction?
Right, is the veil of Allah created on
That's what it's a bit cool, yeah.
right?
Back to you next time.
All right,
It's not cool,
I'm sorry you found me out.
yeah, see,
sometimes it's alright, sometimes it's weak. Completely weak.
Yassine, to show there's no hard feelings, there's a little bit for you to do.
It's a bit quiet today.
Feel free to come and talk to me about it.
We're not here last week,
Right, guys.
so that's that one.
Any questions? Any aspect of the Christian faith? Before I go. Yeah, do you mind having a camera? Yeah?
Actually, it's
new to the faith. Praise be to God. Glory be to God.
So what it is, I can't find any scripture in the Bible that makes it lawful for me as a believer to eat unclean meat according to Leviticus, Deuteronomy. I can't find any obvious scripture in its full context that